The shelter standoff continues. It appears that Osarch, Oregon, has taken the Lifeboat shelter of downtown Astoria and denied shelter to a cardiology patient again. This seems to be a repeat occurrence of medical malpractice from the Lifeboat shelter. There is a lot of questionable behavior going on with that shelter. The recent news came with no warning, a total shock. The alleged premise of the denial of shelter to the cardiology patient was a retrieval of the phone 1 minute after the shelter was trying to close down this morning, if I understand correctly. It took 1 minute to get the phone, and the returning to retrieve the phone, which was the true possession of the shelter recipient, was observed on a surveillance camera by the felon Osarch Orak. Hi, Mitchell Brown. Great to see you. Oh, so let me fill you in this. The felon Osarch Jason Orak, the one with the gun in his backpack when he was doing burglary on the houseboat where he sold methamphetamine and had a stockpile of weapons, who has the downtown former Capricorn restaurant, which he's converted into the bunker basement shelter, was observing a woman on a surveillance camera, watching her retrieve her cell phone from where it was charging. It was very well charged when I found her today, and has decided to put her on a 7-day starvation diet with 7 days of denial of shelter as a punishment at the Lifeboat shelter, which received Tina Kotek's Oregon Housing, what is it? Oregon OHCS or something like this. Oregon Homeless Services, some kind of funding. Anyway, it's a hard acronym for me, but so what's it? Okay, I'm fine. Gosh, I tilt my head and the AI of the video wants to get involved. So she was shocked. She came up. Her friends were like, one of the people was like, I'm pissed. I'm going down there and I'm going to tell them. So I'm going to go down into this claustrophobic basement that somebody yesterday described it as like a pool. And I was like, a pool? Like a pool of what? And I was like, oh, because of the humidity from all the showers and the dampness. And I mean, Astoria is like 100% humidity a lot of the time with the extreme weather. So everybody struggles with humidity in Astoria or this climate. But add to it that it's a damp and dark basement, that it's very close to the river, that it's at risk of flooding, that they put showers where showers were never meant to go in this dark. I mean, anyone who's lived in a basement in the Northwest could testify it's radon, it's musty, it's black moldy. We're talking 100-year-old buildings there. Hey, I'll view a message held for a review. Potentially inappropriate. Oh my gosh. Okay, view message. Got it. Wow, how inappropriate is it? I don't understand. I was saying view. Hi, fat B word. Oh, that's okay. I'm pretty fat. I'm like 152 pounds probably. I don't know. I felt like 152. That's pretty skinny for me because I could be up to 157. Yeah. So I'm like almost 5'5", so that is technically overweight. So you are correct. But it's okay. I mean, so I have to push show. I don't know how to content moderate on comments, but feel free to comment. So anyway, she will be sleeping outside, which is dangerous to her cardiology. I felt like asking the doctor today at the hospital for a prescription for housing because I know that people. Thank you, Mitchell, for telling Connor to be nice. But I think he meant it like PHAT, like in the 90s when fat was like a compliment. But anyway, how was your New Year so far? We're up to 15 viewers. I have no idea how we have 15 viewers. That's pretty cool. So anyway, I just wanted to, this is my whistle in case I need to blow the whistle on anybody who's embezzling the homeless money up here in Clatsop County. So I got a really good interview with the baby daddy of the chick who was going down to chew out the shelter directors who are like making it all like they're so compassionate. Oh wow, you just really want to like send me What's next? Okay, who's Toxico? That's you guys sound like more of like an OnlyFans type of a crowd. Let me go show hide. I really don't care, but it is sexual harassment. But that's not what this kind of show is supposed to be. So I'll just ignore the comments from now on. Okay, new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. So anybody who wants to feed the people who have been rejected from the lifeboat shelter, we have to also recognize that around the corner they took this old hotel. It was like the cheapest hotel in town, like I don't know, even like $65 a night or something. That's still cheap around here. And I'm not checking the offensive messages, and YouTube evidently. Thank you for subscribing. But anyway, this little hotel, this dinky hotel, they actually made people homeless to turn the hotel into a homeless shelter. So the family that had run that shelter forever were made immediately homeless when Clatsop Community Action took over the hotel. I've heard a police officer's niece is living at that hotel, high out of her mind on Fetty. I've heard sheriff's deputies in the Clatsop County Jail call the Columbia Motel Shelter in a tax-funded trap house, which I think is, I mean, I like diversity of opinions, and I don't necessarily agree with all the opinions. To me, it's just like a kaleidoscope. I like to listen to all the opinions and try to find where the truth lies in the middle of all of that. So okay, bye, RG Toasters. Yeah. How did you end up here? That's a nice graphic art thing, though. I don't know, does anybody know what that means? It looks like it's like a backslash. Does that mean something? It just looks kind of like a W. Anyway, so I just was going live to tell you that this is just terrible, that this woman now is being sentenced to 7 days of starvation. I guess it's lucky if she gets her food card uploaded with like Oregon, whatever government money for food. Maybe, I mean, like, you could even argue that if Lifeboat is going to deny food to people as a punishment, and she was literally dreading the food. She was like, ugh, what disgusting thing are they going to have there tonight? Because it's notoriously giving people food poisoning and whatnot. The, the food there's not good. They don't even do a day center. Basically, the reason why Astoria is so messed up, or one of the many reasons, is because it used to be like a forestry town and a fishing town, and a lot of that industry died down. Yeah. They do have food banks. Yeah, they do. But when you're homeless, pushing a wheelchair, trying to zip around in a wheelchair, you can't carry around 12. And you know what ends up happening when homeless people go, thank you for loving my hair. Well, I'm not used to commenting to live stuff because I just usually do things a little differently. I used to do a lot of live streaming on Bamboozer. I really love Bamboozer. Does anybody remember that? That was like a Swedish startup. They had like green logo. It's pretty much like YouTube. It was really standard, but I would do a lot of live streams. One time I was live streaming an earthquake in Los Angeles. It was so cool because we like shook. It was kind of like riding a skateboard or something, but where like you go over a bump. And my friend and I were standing doing a live stream talking about art, and then everything just goes like, "Vroom," and we were on the 5th floor of my building, and it rumbled. It was pretty fun. But pray for this lady with heart failure. I mean, on the bright side, she's going to donate her organs to heart research because she has heart problems throughout her whole family. But it's just horrifying that the shelter director bought himself a $565,000 house that's now valued at like $600,000. So in a way, he made $40,000 just in the price value of his house going up. In Vancouver, we have a food bank called Fish where you can get a bag lunch at the. Oh, yes. Oh, that's a great idea, though. Thank you, Mitchell. Mitchell, can I just say you have been like the most valuable resource. I spoke to actually another commenter who's had some kind of she's kind of more quiet and curious, but she actually told me last night in person because I recognized her picture. She was like, I actually watch your channel a lot, but she likes the art gallery stuff. But I really, really, really appreciate your comments, Mitchell. Oh, the shelter director's name is it's Osarch. It's Osarch. Middle name Jason. Last name Orak. Orak. I do a lot of my blogging. Yeah, subscribe. Patricia. I don't know, you have to explain to me what you mean. But I don't know what you mean by sub, but do you hear the scanner? I listen to the scanner like way too much now. Yeah, no, Mitchell, but thank you for your tips on the helping hands stuff. Oh, actually, guess what I heard about Marsha at Helping Hands, which Marsha's kind of like the right hand man of Alan Evans down for the Seaside location. She took me to a back room to chew me out, right? Like, and I was like, oh, well, this is so illegal and intimidating. But to me, it was just so unprofessional. I thought it was cute. So I was kind of like, let's play along. This is hilarious. I can't believe how you run your business. But it was also really nice because somebody was blowing up the bathroom up close to the front of the door with so much fentanyl that I was like, anything to get away from the fentanyl, even if we have to. And I actually kind of thought that's why she chose to take me to her back room, is like, we're going to go have a private conference in the principal's office, but we're actually secretly getting away from the big fentanyl. This is like exactly about a year ago, maybe like January 13th or something, because my friend got stuck down there. Do I game? No, not really. Not really. Maybe I could make some friends with gamers. I don't quite understand gaming culture, though. You are not going to get a men. I get so many men. I have men problems. I have men lined up around, like on waiting lists. Don't worry about the men. I don't really like them that much. I'm probably like 90% lesbian, which is a form of bisexuality, but there's just different percentages. Some people are only 10% lesbian, but I'm more like definitely lesbian. But I am not very lucky with women, so I'm just like have to get stuck with the bros. Hang out with dudes. I'm more like a dude. But thank you, Connor Martin, for your advice. I don't know which kind of men you do like. Scary stuff. Who is this Patricia Nottingham? Is that like your real name? That's kind of a cool name. But anyway, so Marsha takes me to the back room and she's like, have you put something on YouTube about my shelter? She was like, if Alan Evans were here, you would be on the other side of that white line. And that was her way of saying you would be excluded, trespassed, 86, and what they call exited from Helping Hands. And I'm like, these power trippers in the shelter are crazy, because it's like, this is a shelter. This isn't like Harvard. This isn't like a really big, prestigious place. They act like the power to kick you out of the shelter turns them into God. Oh, Mitchell Brown. Connor. Oh, thank you. I thought you were saying I was rude. Connor is being rude because he's probably got a lot of indoctrination to misogyny, so he's not used to empowered women just stating their mind. And I don't really know who you are or where all y'all come from. But I'm not really insulted too easily. I don't really care. LMAO. You guys can, okay, age categories. I'm 47, so I'm like basically dinosaur on the edge of Gen X. But like the really bad Gen Xers who are really morons are like 54. So I'm sort of smart because I had a lot of friends that were 10 years younger than me that like taught me how to upload my first YouTube. Do you realize I didn't know? I was like, okay, I think I took a video. What do I do? And I was like, better ask someone younger than me. But anyway, my friend, I believe she's being retaliated against by Osarch Jason Orak. You should look him up. He got in Coin News for stealing a dog from a disabled elderly woman on the way to the hospital. He stole her dog, and we still don't know what he did with the dog. But anyway, in Astoria, they want you to be a dog thief to run a shelter, but also like a meth dealer. And that most of the fentanyl people moved down to Seaside and or they died. So I guess that is not the right way to solve the Fetty crisis, but I think people are somewhat. I can't wait. I don't have the good eyes, too. I think I need bifocals. Hold up. If you like, you want to do. Oh, he runs a shelter. He calls it Lifeboat, but it basically kind of stole a couple of other shelters. And there's a term in economics called vulture capitalist. He's essentially a vulture capitalist with the shelter game. So the Astoria Warming Center is now basically destroyed because he forced everyone to resign or not be employed or not work there. Oh, my name? It's the same as my channel. Are you on my channel? It's Mary. I don't like that name, but it's just what my mom called me. Like St. Mary, the mother of Jesus, all that. Okay, and last name is Norwegian. She's from like great something parents. But anyway, so then the other thing that he took up was this filling empty bellies, was this sandwich delivery for like people around the park. But it was like a family thing. It was out of a car, and it was really chill. So filling empty bellies, which sometimes people call it feeding empty bellies, pretty much the same thing. Um, oh yeah, the warming center was a whole different vibe. Yeah, the warming center was so different. And there's so many problems over there. Like, for instance, even the mayor donated a washing machine, and Ozark won't let them use the washing machine. And he told Tracy, me, Gigi that we couldn't be involved. The stream is about a woman who can't get shelter tonight in Astoria, Oregon. The Columbia Motel shelter has been essentially like they dismantled the power structure because the woman who was running it was getting increasingly corrupt and discriminated against a lot of people, like especially if her boyfriend bought meth or fentanyl from you. That was definitely a grounds for you to be excluded from shelter. Okay, so she's rumored to have had a drug crisis. She's rumored to have had a dirty UA. She's been rumored to misappropriate donations. But just generally, there's a lot of profiteerism that is even considered legitimate. Like around here, they act like it's perfectly legitimate for you to have like a huge salary. Well, most people don't. Oh, thanks for saying you're sorry. That's a good habit. I had a job where if you like delivered the wrong food to the wrong people, you just say I'm sorry, and it's like you get over it. It's better. I don't know what. Oh my gosh, can Patricia? I don't know who you are, but I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so yeah, just if you're religious, go ahead and pray for the people that are out there in the cold tonight. And I'm charging a homeless woman's phone, and I'm going to run back out. Oh, Connor, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, definitely apologize. I said mofo on my channel today, and the title of the film is subscribers? You want 1 million or something like that? Oh yeah, right. Who, me? No, not me. I don't aim for fame. Back in the 90s, it was cooler to be underground, so I'd rather be underground. But I think 5 people watching streams pretty underground. So what do you think that we can do to improve this shelter situation? Do you think we should get him to stop buying like $500,000 houses with the $1 million for the homeless? Or do you think we should have, you see, I mean, you could say, you guys are so strange. Do I have to turn, can you, where's the nice guy at? Mitchell, should I just turn off the comments because they seem kind of pointless and annoying? Anyway, so I would say there's no easy answer, but there is an easy answer. And the easy answer is called the Million Program. It's you build 1 million houses and you just get housing for everybody. And then they'll still have problems. They'll have like alcoholism or whatever, or emotional problems or depression or whatever kind of problems people have. But you basically guarantee them housing, guarantee them shelter, guarantee them health care. And then you have a much more highly functional society, which is like Sweden, but it does take a lot of money. And that's, I guess, like the main hurdle. And then it does become very attractive to people that would want to move to your country. But this whole American way of just like doing everything the most inefficient way possible, with everyone just like suffering extreme lack of hygiene, extreme exposure to disease, extreme proliferation of drug dealers. Like today I was thinking about, did we just lose the drug war? Is that just what happened? Because Oregon has been this like pilot program to legalize everything, or like virtually legalize, virtually decriminalize all these drugs. And then the Oregon State Legislature just recently in September kind of tried to backtrack on our drug policy. But like the guy who is the meth dealer who has the stolen phone from the mother with 3 young children, who doesn't understand how anyone could steal her phone in a shelter, she's terrified to go to the Lifeboat shelter run by the felon drug dealer Osarch, who basically slept his way to the top, impregnated the homeless sandwich delivery chick, And then she's like, here, you can have my job and we can make this big empire and we can score all this grant money so we can be rich and buy a house to have a kid with. And it's like, kind of like, part of me sarcastically wants to be like, oh yeah, that's cool. You made a bunch of money off of the homeless. But the homeless are increasingly speaking out against being played. They know they're being played. And I got a good film with this guy. I struggle with how to title it. Actually, I'm tired, really tired. But I was at the hospital all day with my friend with the heart failure. So she's out on the street. And let's see. I think I'm going to be looking at the channel and talking about the channel. Okay, so here's what Sisu mofos. Sisu, for anyone who doesn't know, who's not Finnish or doesn't know Finnish culture, just means courage and guts, okay? So the Finnish mentality is just like, have guts. Like, don't not have guts. Like, don't be a coward, pretty much. And so mofos, I think you guys might know that. I think that's a cuss word. But anyway, my friend was talking about how many people are profiting off of the poverty crisis in our county. So she was saying it would take like $140 million a day for everyone in our county who is greedy to profit off the system. And then I did like kind of a ADA, like Americans with Disabilities audit of the sidewalk when I was pushing her wheelchair. She got a paramedic ride from the ambulance to the hospital, but then I got to push her wheelchair kind of a good distance, like maybe like a mile and a quarter or something. So I filmed the whole thing to basically show how decrepit our sidewalks are and how uncomfortable. And actually, they weren't the worst sidewalks. I mean, there's some really bad sidewalks in different places because we have a lot of geological disruption in Astoria with the plates and the shifting, the landslides and stuff like that, plus the trees. But I feel like that is definitely a huge agenda to make the wheelchair accessibility more safe. And then, oh yeah, I did a discussion of the constitutional rights crisis with the shelter where they basically had this ploy to basically intimidate homeless people into not standing anywhere near the shelter. Like say down in LA, Skid Row, LA, where I hung out in say 2005, everybody's going to line up at the shelter because it's like hundreds of people trying to get in and it's all dangerous and sketchy and people are smoking crack in the porta potties and fighting and gunshots and single room occupancies and like it's just crazy. It's like hard to describe. It's very like 10,000 people within 10 blocks or something like this. But who are all homeless. It's filthy and sad, extremely sad, like devastatingly sad. So then you go like, okay, you're in Astoria, which is like a town of just barely over 10,000 people. Whatever homeless are going to get into these 22 beds. And there's maybe I think there's maybe 40 beds at the Columbia Hotel, which is kind of more secretive and certain kinds of people can make it there and follow all the particular rules and the political climates and atmosphere over there. But the director of the Lifeboat are like, you can't be on the sidewalk. If you're on the sidewalk at 5:30 waiting for the shelter to open, you don't get any dinner. So he uses the withholding of meals it's just completely weird because like when I tell people, they're like, you can't withhold meals. That doesn't make any sense. But that's what he does. So we got this film called Homeless, Millions Missing in Astoria. Then this guy he calls himself Vess Christ, like Vessel of Christ. And that's his preference, is to be called that way. And then I was looking at, I guess that's pretty much what I got today. I didn't really get that much today, but then we made so many last night. I assume it's like Mitchell online. I don't know. Oh, Patricia. Happy New Year is 2025. So okay, like the issue of sit, stand, lie ordinance, this has been like a controversial issue in law for a long time. And different jurisdictions usually use police to come and say to a homeless person, you're on a sidewalk, you can't be there, this is horrible. Whatever, here's a ticket, here's a trespass, go to jail, that kind of thing. So what I find unusual about the Lifeboat situation is it's as if the police are outsourcing the bully authoritarian tactics of constitutional right deprivation to the shelter director, who has a judge on his board. So 2 years ago, I realized, I was like, oh, he's operating as a dirty cop because he's doing things that the police know would get them sued for. But if he does them as a shelter, he's not held to the level of scrutiny because people are just like, oh, he's just some felon who runs a shelter. And yeah, never give up. Thank you for the positive encouragement. But I've just been having a blast. Like, I literally headed out around 11, eventually found the chick I was looking for who needed a coat, and she was really happy. She went down to scream at the shelter for kicking out her friend. And then as soon as my friend's phone is charged, I mean, the thing we're actually fearing is that the shelter director is specifically targeting her due to her free speech and protected activities because she's speaking out against the corruption. But I don't think she's like, she's like, he doesn't know who he's messing with. And I'm like, no, he doesn't, does he? Because she is super smart. She's super creative. She's very tech literate. She's powered up. She's calling radio stations. She is bringing it on. And she's a Gemini, which I tend to really respect the Geminis. They're super clever. God, oh, bless. Thank you. God bless you, Mary. You are an advocate. Well, okay. And so get this. We have other problems. It's not just the shelter that's a problem. One of our other current problems is the hospital's mistreatment of the homeless. Okay. We've got the sidewalks, which are dangerous for wheelchairs. And then we also have even the churches are discriminatory towards the homeless when they allow these tyrannical people to be really mean to homeless people who try to join the church or come to the alcoholics meetings at the churches and stuff like that. So there's serious problems. But this Columbia Memorial Hospital, which is going through expansion, they claim not to be funded and not to be big enough to like contain all the people that need the care and get the treatment that they need. They have been routinely trespassing people, and it could be because they're come in drunk or they come in high on meth, or frequently that they're homeless and staying too long, or they're perceived as faking like a illness, or basically misusing the emergency room or something. So then I believe it's usually for a safety reason, but as we know with the Lifeboat shelter, they'll like kick you out for anything, like you looked at them wrong. Why are you saying that? That doesn't really seem interesting. What does lol mean? LOL. Oh, I don't know, man. I'm 47. I don't know what lol means. Just quote me on that. But anyway, so literally the hospital is so notoriously hostile to the homeless. Like last night on the scanner, I heard this homeless guy who's frequently suicidal was getting kicked out of the hospital because they're denying him care or food or warmth or whatever. And so I called the hospital front desk and I'm like, okay, I got some leftovers he can have and a coat. Okay, so he runs out of the hospital to meet up with me, giving it the message, and then the cop calls me because he has my number on file or something, and he's all like, where is he? I'm looking for him. And he just want to deal with the cop, and I don't want to lie to the cop, so I kind of tried to talk in circles and talk the cop's ear off because I'm like, what about literally the homeless director, the meth dealer guy who runs the shelter Lifeboat? He was calling the cops on the New Year's Eve party at the bike shop, which is trying to do like a little nightclub punk rock venue. Okay, I know you will get all of the homeless back on their feet, and if you ever did get yes, by spreading kindness, and besides kindness, which I definitely believe in kindness, but it's also empowerment. And when all these like authoritarian people, God bless you too, but like all these authoritarian people seem to treat these homeless like they're 2 years old or 13 years old or something. They treat them like such a degrading way. And then this whole food deprivation, I was mad when Hitler did it, and I was mad when Stalin did it. In any type of human rights crime situation where you deprive somebody of food to extort them for their behavior, or to psychologically humiliate them, or to cause them to die, or have diabetes, or eating disorders, or heart attacks, or whatever, I view that as a very serious human rights violation. And Clatsop County is currently empowering a man who is addicted to human rights violations. He is addicted to denial of food to these very, very marginalized people. He's successfully driven many homeless people away. And part of my perverse understanding is that some of the richer people in town who actually really hate the homeless appreciate him for being cruel to them by denying them food, because then they do leave town. And if that is the goal, to abuse them to the point of they leave town at this horrible, horrendous shelter system that is just feeding homeless people to the jail system and the court system. Oh, I'm sorry you have to put your dog down. No wonder you're so grumpy, Connor Martin. What's wrong with your dog? That's really sad. But I mean, people love their dogs like family members. And some people can handle it better. My friend had to put down her cat. But yeah, you have the right to be upset. Animals are amazing. I'm definitely an animal lover. But I even said that to the director's wife. I was like, let's see, believe in God and start the love and the kindness. Yeah, I like your philosophy. Patricia Nottingham, definitely. I really like your philosophy. So I said a prayer last night when I put a blanket and a pillow over this homeless person who was sleeping nearby, who basically narrowly averted getting arrested at the hospital, because getting arrested at the hospital is the thing, because the shelter is failing the homeless. The homeless will end up going to the hospital because one guy keeps getting suicidal every time he gets kicked out of the shelter. And people don't believe he's suicidal because he has kind of this tough guy persona from like the East Coast. But when I talked to him about his history of suicidal behavior, I realized this is very serious. And when Officer Whitney called me, I was like, actually, he's a really nice guy, by the way, because like not all cops in all jurisdictions are totally nice, but Officer Whitney really seems like he cares about being decent and fair and cool. He's got like a kind of a cool, kind of happy-go-lucky demeanor. But I was talking with him about how I don't think it's fair for the shelter to do these make and break calls where they push people to the edge of mental chaos by denying them food. So there are some people in town who are aware of what's going on. Yeah, Connor Martin, I definitely see why you're feeling mad. But listen, I don't know if you believe in prayer or whatever, or the spirit world, or what your feelings are about death, but yeah, I can't even imagine. I haven't had like a really close pet in a while, but I've definitely helped a pet. Like I had this cat that was really sick that I nourished back into health. And it was just lovely to have a cat. To have a cat is like a luxury to me because they actually really do take a lot of work and a lot of cleaning and stuff. And dogs, I'm kind of a Chihuahua person. I got to have some Chihuahua experience due to my friend's dad having a Chihuahua, and I just like really love a Chihuahua. And I do like little and cute dogs. And I like Dobermans because we got raised around Dobermans. Well, Connor, good luck with your dog. I guess I'm getting kind of tired. I'm probably actually also low battery, which it's nice to talk to y'all. But look out for people being denied shelter. There was an elderly man with heart trouble being denied shelter. I'm in it. People who are out of town. Adam got denied shelter. Vanessa got denied shelter. Sierra got banned for a week. Blank is getting denied for a week. There is just chronic abuse of punitive mistreatment of the homeless people through denying them food. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what about your mom? Don't tell her, please. Well, I know a lot about God when we want too much, but it's very good to know sometimes. Okay, I don't know about your mom, but pray for all these shelter people that are either in trouble or on the run from this situation. A lot of them just leave town. Like, they're not going to stay in Astoria with a shelter this poorly run. And that's a pretty easy choice. I think I would make the same choice. I wouldn't sit there being walked on, but then some of them are ending up long-term in jail because they've been mistreated at the shelter gaslit, bullied, framed, robbed, beaten, assaulted, sexually assaulted by shelter participants. The county covers for it. Monica Steele, the assistant county manager, made it seem to me that it was like a personal insult to her personal friend, that a person with a criminal record, she even called the chief of police, was like, what do we do about Ozark Orak's criminal record? Are we allowed to do this? And he's actually used shelter funding to pay to try to get as much of his criminal offenses. Oh yeah, there is like no mental health. They essentially, I mean, we have CBH, we have classic behavioral health, but you always have to be a certain level of healthy to engage with them. Like you have to be able to make appointments, you have to transport, you have to get over the hill, you have to have a certain level of functionality. But for stuff that's very acute and suicidal, I mean, we have cops that'll try to talk you off the bridge, and a lot of them have done a lot to help. Oh, the Maritime Bar. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, that's the first place I saw Dr. Onion and the No No Mamas. They're really cool. They're a really, really, really good metal band. And Maritime Bar is okay. They have kombucha on tap, and they have kind of a nice atmosphere. They still have the really big couches, like the leather couches where you can sit. And I like all the TVs, so you can watch sports games. And the bartenders are pretty nice. I guess they're somehow related to the Labor Temple bar, but I was going to the Labor Temple more because that's such a good karaoke scene. And I think they talked about moving the karaoke over to Maritime, which would be okay for me, but they're actually going to open up the Portical. I don't know if you remember that from like 2016, 17. I used to go see a friend play piano a bit, like with kind of little like, I don't know, like jam band, kind of rock and roll band and writers' nights and stuff. Oh, the whole world is so. Wait. Oh, I see. Huh. Yeah. I don't know. I think this is age restricted, but I'm not trying to in any way. Stay up all day, like all day and all night. Oh yeah. Well, actually, one of the greatest honors is inspiring people to fix their own communities. So part of why I report on Astoria problems. Yeah, I understand that's what they've said. I don't know if that's true or not. But I think homelessness was a huge problem in my childhood, and I remember being really shocked and appalled at it. So it's extremely important for, I don't know, a safe community. I really don't know anything about. Okay. I feel like I'm being trolled. I don't know who's bugging me. But anyway, I'm tired anyway. I was going to sign off anyway. I got some errands to run. I don't understand. How old? I think you guys are like in your 20s or something. I don't know. But maybe Mitchell, I've talked to you more. Oh, go just watch some shorts. There's some goofy shorts. You gotta go catch up. This is the boring one. But it's fun to be live. I'll be live later more. I'll try to be live more later. See you